Chris Redfield is the most overused character in the Resident Evil universe. Greetings, Warriors Group. How you guys doing? Welcome to the GGGryphon Gaming channel. Guys, now you know there's no clickbait in this video. I said what I said. I answered the question in the title below. I probably lost some subscribers there. Okay, hey, you know, you win some, you lose some. And not only that, I know there are some Big Daddy Chris fans out there. Okay, I highly understand. I know it. I mean, hell, I got Leon Scott Kennedy on my godforsaken desk. Okay, now I do have a reason why I do say that. Okay, now let me rephrase some stuff just so we understand some stuff here. Oh man, I already know my comments. Oh man. Okay, now the reason why I say that, I'm not saying that because I'm a Leon fanboy. I have thoroughly acknowledged that I am a Leon fanboy. Abso-freaking-lutely. I was a Leon fanboy since RE2, and that was the first character I ever played in the series, okay? But after 4, it was like certified Leon is just that guy. Now, about Chris. Now, I always make a joke that every time Chris has a partner, they die. However, Sheva, Queen Sheva, she deserves her praise, okay? I'm gonna give Jill her praise too because, let's be real now. However, this is why I say Chris Redfield is the most overused RE character. Resident Evil 1, all right, Jill and Chris. Resident Evil 2, Leon. Resident Evil 3, none of them made an appearance. Resident Evil 4, Leon. Now, as you guys have known right here, Chris took a back seat. Now, I'm being fair here. Chris took a back seat for 2 Resident Evils, okay? 2 and 3. No, take it back. 2, 3, and 4, okay? Okay, let me recap. Chris took a break for 3 Resident Evils, okay? Leon wasn't in 3, so that doesn't count, all right? But Leon is in 4, okay? Here is when Chris goes nuts. Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, along with Leon, Resident Evil 6. Now we're tied. I might as well just put this hand away for Leon, all right? Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, Griff Gang. We're talking about 5 that he's been in. That's great, right? Resident Evil 1, I'm gonna just put this here, all right? But we're talking about 4 Resident Evils, 5, 6, 7, 8, that Chris has been in. I'm gonna put this hand away to keep Leon safe and sound, okay? My man Chris has been in 5, but he's been 4 back to back, okay? Now, granted, maybe you won't count 7 because I don't know who the funk that was. I don't know if that's, I always say that's Chris Bluefield. It's the fucking opposite, man. Christopher Bluefield, however you want to call him. That's not Chris Redfield to me, but apparently that's Chris, so it's Chris, okay? Oh my gosh. I say that to say this, and this is about RE9, all right? I took a voting poll on my YouTube channel, okay? You got 204 people. I said other confirmed character with an arsenal weapon RE9. Leon got the vote. Now, I do want to say that would have been my choice as well. Yes, speaking as a Leon fanboy, I would love Leon to come back because realistically, Leon has not been seen since RE6. Chris has been seen 3 times since 6. Resident Evil 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Not counting 5, but since last time Leon made an appearance in a mainline Resident Evil game, Chris has been seen 3 times, and they were in a row. Okay? Resident Evil 6, which he had a great campaign, RIP Pierce, all right? You had Resident Evil 7, which, like I said, that's not Chris, but it's Chris, all right? And then Resident Evil 8, where Chris performed stupid, okay? Now I'm going to give Chris his credit. In RE Village, other than Lady Dimitrescu and Benevento's house, which was my favorite parts in the game because they were scary, and of course, you know, Lady D. Playing as Chris in RE Village felt fucking fantastic. I understand it wasn't survival horror. That was just you as a player being a fucking badass. There is a reason why I'm not gonna say it would be impossible, but you won't feel scared playing as an OG character. Our OG characters are way too overpowered now. They've been fighting BOWs since 1998. Well, realistically, now I know 1996, you know, because the first Resident Evil, but you get my point. The years, okay, 1998. All right, so they've been fighting BOWs for so long. They are OP AF. So it felt good playing as Chris in RE8. I'm going to give Chris that credit. I'm just saying, if you ran out of ammo playing as Chris in RE Village, you may have needed some help. Or maybe you're new to the series, which I totally get, or you just had a great old time like I did and just blasting those things. So I will give Chris his credit that he was very fun to play as in Village, okay? Plus I did like the theme that played when you played as Chris. You were that guy in that moment, all right? In the mainline Resident Evil titles, Chris is the most overused at this point. I don't want to see Chris in RE9. He can be mentioned. He can be mentioned because, all in fairness, Leon was mentioned in RE5, even though he was not in the game. When Chris was talking to HQ, he said the enemies are acting like the ones that we read in the Kennedy report, and we all know what that meant. Okay, so we know Leon was mentioned in there. Now let's talk about some other mentions. Leon was also mentioned in Resident Evil Dead Aim, who's actually a friend of the main character in that game. And then Leon was also mentioned on RE Survivor, if you want to count that. Basically, he was a friend of the main character in there. I'm ashamed talking about Survivor, but you guys get it. Now, of course, like I said, I know a lot of people are going to counter that because the CGI movies are canon. They are. Leon has been in every single one of those CGI movies, and Chris has only been in 2. I know people are going to do that, to backtrack like,
hey Griffin, Leon has been in all the CGI movies and Chris only been in 2.
I get what y'all saying, but I'm talking about the mainline titles. And the reason why I'm talking about that is because we have RE9 on the cusp, on the horizon. I know there are a lot of Chris fans that think that Chris is going to be the character in RE9. Now, the key word, arsenal of weapons, right? Because that is the term that they used. I can understand why people say that it's going to be Chris, because let's be realistic here. Whenever Chris shows up on the scene to the rescue, this man is strapped. RE5, RE6, and the thing is, Chris has always had this background of like a military type background, all right? He was in the Air Force, which of course is how him and Barry became friends and how he became a member of STARS. That's already 2 instances of him being in a militaristic type group, okay? Then you had the BSAA when Chris appears again in RE5, and then he's also part of BSAA in RE6, all right? And a lot of that is militaristic type settings, okay? And we have here in Resident Evil 8, and Resident Evil 7, it's still militaristic, but you guys get that. That I don't even think that was even explained what the hell that was. However, in Resident Evil 8, you have the Hound Wolf squad, okay? Couple of badasses, militaristic type. I can understand why fans will say that, hey, Chris may be the one that shows up with an arsenal of weapons. I'll be completely honest. If it is freaking Chris, hey Chris, how you doing? I'm gonna be happy to see him, but I'm also gonna be like, dude, now you have been in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this man will have been in 5 consecutive mainline Resident Evils. If that's not overused, I have no idea what to tell you, man. If Leon doesn't make an appearance on here, I'm gonna say I don't want to hear nobody say that Leon is overused, because the last time we saw Homeboy was in 6. Now, of course, in the timeline perspective, I know about the CGI movies. I know y'all are going to counter that so heavy in the comment section. I know, like I said, I probably lost some subscribers doing this because this is probably a hot take, because we got a lot of diehard Chris fans out there. But I can't be the only one thinking that this man has been shown so many times in the mainline series. I'm cool with him being in the CGI movies. That's perfect. Like Vendetta, like Degeneration is my favorite CGI movie, but Vendetta was definitely a fan service. That hallway scene is still my favorite. You literally have the 2 most badasses in the RE universe in one hallway with just regular zombies running and gunning. Dude, you have brute force Chris and you have John Wick Leon in the fucking hallway. Like, dude, come on now. Like, that was so incredible seeing those 2 freaking do that. Absolutely. However, back to my point, Chris is the most overused person in the universe. Okay, so well, not the most overused person, but in the R universe, he's overused AF. Yeah, of course I would love to see Leon. Would the character be the arsenal weapons could be Leon? I would love for that. That would be my vote. However, I would also be lying if I said I would not want to see Jill again. I've been wanting to see Jill for the longest. I understand that she was in the CGI movie Death Island. Again, I'm not counting that. I have to keep saying that because I know someone's gonna say in the comments about the CGI movies, and I just want to clarify, I understand, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the mainline games. All right, not the sidebar games. Okay, now the last time we saw Jill was in RE5 via like main games and everything like that. Like I said, main games, not the sidebar games, which Revelations would be considered a sidebar game, even though we saw Jill. But if you want to count that, that is the last time we saw her. Resident Evil 5 Revelations type timeline. Okay, that was the last time we saw baby girl. Since then, haven't seen Jill in the games, and I do want to see her and see what she's been up to. Especially when you see Chris this many times, we haven't seen Jill. You know, that throws me off. Like, it's like when you see Leon, I expect to see Ada. When I see Chris, I expect to see or hear a mention of Jill. You get where I'm going with? Like, the 2 badasses do have a female counterpart. So on par, every time there's been a game with Leon in it, Ada's there. But when Chris is there, not every time Jill is mentioned. So if Capcom just be dogging on our women, bro, they, like Claire be not getting no love, Jill ain't getting no love. Rebecca Chambers, she's getting her love in the CGI movies. Okay, respect. Okay, I love me some Rebecca. All right, but they don't be showing them some love. I don't know what the hell that is. All right, so it feels good that we do have a female protagonist, even a new one. I'm cool with that. All right, but let's be honest, guys. I know a lot of people in the fan base say, why do we have a brand new protagonist? Because realistically in survival horror, I would not feel scared playing these games if I'm playing as one of these OG characters that are complete badasses at killing and destroying BOWs. It were these people that helped bring down Umbrella. You get where I'm going with that? I would not feel scared or suspenseful playing as one of them. Maybe I could get like a little couple of jumps here and there or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But when you're playing someone brand spanking new, it's a mental thing, man. It's a mental thing when you play these games. I don't even know who the fuck I'm playing with. That's why to me, Resident Evil 7 was so scary. If I went to that Jack Baker house and everything as Chris or Leon, I know one of them two are gonna kick Jack Baker's ass. They're not gonna be Ethan. I know if it was Leon and Chris, they would not be tied to that chair and having dinner with the Baker family. I know that. Okay, so let's be real. That's why it was so scary, because you're playing with someone who you don't even know. In this one, you have a name and who she's related to in the series. That hasn't been talked about a while, but she's related to someone in the series. We have a name, we have a face. So that's already clarifying, like, cool. All right, so there's still a level of fear in there. But playing as one of these guys, I wouldn't feel that. All right, but as an OG character coming back to help Grace or be like a supporting cast, sure, absolutely, I can do that, because now it's a sense of familiarity. God, I hope I'm saying that word right, for the player. Okay, so I would love for it to be Leon, because we haven't seen Leon in a while. But if not, I would love to see Jill. I would love to see Carlos. I would love to see, it'd be cool to see Barry, but like I said, Barry's in his 60s at this point. So homie's probably, like I said, he's probably retired and everything. I'm cool with Barry retiring, just him being left alone, but not forgotten. But let's be honest, the two main characters that I can at least think of on the top of my head that they just tossed out is Billy and Carlos. Okay, so I don't think we will ever see Billy ever again. I do feel like with the fan sentiment after RE3 remake, I feel like they could bring back Carlos for something. That's the one thing about Capcom when it comes to these characters. They're quick to like throw peeps away. Like they're so quick to do it. I don't know what it is, but Leon and Chris, they're getting that love treatment. But however, Chris is getting it a lot more than Leon. Even though Leon is in the CGI movies, I know I keep saying that, but in the mainline games, Chris is always coming. All right, well, pause. Wow, he's always the hero. He's always the hero. And with that, I know a lot of fans will say, hey, because the word Requiem, maybe this could be a send-off to one of the OG characters. I have always said, if Leon was the one that they would send off, it'd be actually pretty sad, because even though he's badass and he's done things, a lot of his savior accolades are pretty private. The president's daughter, the only people that know about that are the people in the White House, Leon, the president's daughter. It was really under wraps. When it comes to Chris, he's in a very militaristic setting. His whole team knows how good he is and how badass he is. For God's sakes, Piers even said, what happened to the legendary Chris Redfield? They call that man legendary. You get what I'm saying? So Chris is like a hero. So if like a heroic send-off would be Chris if they were to kill an OG character off. At some point, if they keep going with Resident Evil, one of our OGs are going to die. I mean, either old age, retirement, or they just don't talk about them. But knowing how emotionally attached to some of these characters that we are, I know Capcom would do something like that. However, I don't want to have another Last of Us 2 vibes. I'd be so pissed. I don't think they'll do that though. If it was Leon, it'd be sad, because if you guys don't know, a lot of people didn't realize this, but Leon up here mentally homie is going through it. After Raccoon City, like the things when he's in action, when he's fighting BOWs, you can tell he feels at home mentally, because he's badass. He doesn't miss his shots. He's on point with all his stuff. But when he's chilling, everything is all said and done. When he's trying to get on vacation, homie is in the bottle like crazy. If you saw the ending of Resident Evil Damnation, he takes a good sip of a bottle before he leaves his apartment. And then Vendetta, when Chris is asking for his help, he's at a bar. And even Chris even says, like, too early to be hitting the bottle, Leon. And then when Chris like freaking moved his drink and everything, Leon gets pissed. Like Leon is diving in the bottle and everything. So if Leon was to go, it'd be very sad. It would be really sad, because like, man, I was like, up here mentally, he's not well. Now at the same time though, I will give him credit. Even though up there he is hurting, he's still willing to protect people, destroy BOWs, do the good things. I totally get it. But Chris ain't doing that. Chris is in that ass. Sorry, pause y'all. Wow. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Chris ain't backing down. He ain't taking no vacations. He ain't taking no breaks. Man, don't sleep. Okay? Obviously, you don't freaking sleep. He's been in freaking 4 Resident Evils in a row. Okay? Gonna be 5 if he's in 9. If he's mentioned, then fine. If they mentioned Chris, just tell us what happened to the BSA in Europe. Just tell us that. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the one that comes in with an arsenal of weapons. I wouldn't be surprised if it is him, because maybe something happened in Europe and now he has to go back to Raccoon City. Who knows, man? Like I said, I'm spinning here. But like I said, there's a good chance Chris could make an appearance again, which would make it 5 in a row. Now, if Leon and Chris comes into the mix, okay, cool. They just said a character with an arsenal of weapons. They didn't say anything about it only be one character. There could be a multitude of them. We don't know that yet. But the point of this video is to reiterate that Chris, as of right now, he is the most overused character in Resident Evil. I know I'm going to get comments and y'all are going to destroy me. Probably destroy me. You guys have really been, I'll say the YouTube algorithm has blessed me with great people, but I know this is probably gonna cause some stir. At least that's when I'm prepared for that. Like I said, I've read all of your comments. I'm gonna read this too. And oh my gosh. Oh shoot. I'm ready, lay it on me, y'all. I know y'all gonna say Leon, because y'all know I'm a fanboy, and y'all gonna kill me in the comments. But I know y'all are going to say the CGI movies should be involved because they're canon. I know y'all are going to say that, and by all means, I am very sentiment with what y'all saying. I get it. I hear y'all loud and clear. I do. But that's why I said mainline Resident Evil, Chris is the most overused. He wasn't at first because he was only in Resident Evil 1, then he took a back seat for 2, 3, and 4. Homie caught up like Patriots against the Falcons in the Super Bowl, bro. Homie caught back up and won. My man is in. My man is in. All right, so damn, pause again, dude. But all right, look. I gotta end this dang video, man. I love y'all, Resident Evil community. I love y'all, subscribers to the Gryph Gang, warriors. I love y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Again, Chris is overused.